Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's BooksWithBethx here, and today I will be discussing with you what my 2023 goals are for the year and how they compare to, well, how I read last year basically. Please comment down below what your reading goals are for this year, as I'd love to read them and maybe even nick them for myself. And yeah, let's get into it. So my first and primary goal for this year, and probably my most unachievable out of the list of 5, is to read more books. So normally I average about 2 books a month, so it works out, usually my goal is about 24 books a year. Last year I managed to hit 26, which was quite good, but I did read quite a lot of short books in that time as well, so that's probably why I achieved that. But this year I'd like to aim to read 1 book a week, so 52 books across the whole year, which isn't going too well so far if you've watched my wrap up, but I'm trying. It's good to have a goal to aim for. I'm also hoping to go abroad for a couple of weeks this year as well and have a relaxing holiday, so I should get quite a few books read then, so that should hopefully push my score up. But yeah, I'd like to read 52 books this year. So my second goal for 2023 is to read more non-fiction. So last year I read 2 non-fictions, which is not great. 2 out of 26 books is not brilliant. Obviously it's not my main genre that I read, but I do like to read the odd non-fiction to kind of educate myself more about the world. So yeah, and one of those 2 that I read was for a course that I was doing for work, so even worse really, and it was only a short one. So yeah, I'd like to read a few more. I've got a few in mind that I'd like to read. There's a few feminist ones. There's one, is it called A Taste of Poison? Which sounds quite good. There's one about where nature reclaims the world and places that have been abandoned by humans. That sounds quite cool. And I'd just like to educate myself a bit more. So yeah, my aim for this is to read maybe 4, so that will double the amount I read last year, and that's only 1 a quarter, but I'd like to hopefully read a bit more than that if possible. So my third goal for the year, and this one will sound a bit negative, but take it in a positive light, is to DNF more books. So last year I didn't DNF any books at all, and as you'll see potentially in my worst books of 2022 video, which will definitely be up on my TikTok if not up on here by the time you see this. If you watch that, you'll see that there's at least 1 book on that list that I should have DNF'd, and I should have DNF'd it before I'd hit even a third of the way in. But I still continued reading it because I hate giving up, and I feel like it'd be a waste of my money as well if I didn't read it all, but I should have just given it up. I even asked my other half if I should have given it up, and he said no, continue, so I blame him as well for this happening. So my plan with this one is, if a book is a 2-star and potentially feels like it will go lower by the time I hit halfway through, just put it down and don't continue reading it. I have found a lot of the times when I'm not enjoying a book and I feel like I should push through to the end because the ending might be better, it never is. So yeah, that's my third goal. So my fourth goal of the year is to read more classics. So last year, again, I did abysmally with this. Normally I'm quite good at reading classics. I've read a lot of the classic dystopian like 1984 and Brave New World and Handmaid's Tale and things like that. Last year I read 1, and that was June, and that's the only one I read, so I did very badly with that. So I'd like to, similarly to the non-fiction one, read 4 classics this year, and yeah, I can do that quarterly, so it's quite easy to do. I'd love to read more Jane Austen, so from Jane Austen I've only read Emma, so I'd definitely like to read at least Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. And I'm sure I'll find a few others that I'd like to read as well. So yeah, try to read more classics. So my final goal for 2023 is I'd like to read more books that are released in 2023. So when I was looking at my stats, which I've got my notebook here, of the years that the books I read last year came out in, the majority came out within the last 5 years, but most came out in 2019 just because of the Amazon Forward collection, which I believe there was 8 books that I read out of my 26 all came out in 2019. But there was only 1 book that I read which was released in 2022, which was Babel, I believe. So this year I'd definitely like to try and read more books that are released this year, and hopefully I'll actually be able to participate in the Goodreads reading challenge, because usually there's well, I mean, Babel was on the fantasy list, which of course I voted for because that was one of my favourite books as well. But a lot of the times I look at the list and I've not read any of the books, and a lot of them are on my TBR, but I've just never get around to reading them. I tend to read series and things like that. So yeah, I'd like to read more books that come out this year. So any recommendations for books coming out this year, I'd love to hear them. I know that Yellowface is coming out, I believe it's next month, so that's definitely on my list, so I'll definitely read that. But yeah, I'd like to read, should we say 5? At least 5 books that are released this year, so that's timesing my number by 5. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that is all my reading goals for 2023. I'll do a 6-month check-in in June, July time and just see how I'm getting along with them, and hopefully I'll have read half of those 52 books. That'd be what, 26? Gosh, that's the same amount that I read last year. Yeah, I'll do a check-in around that time and see how we're doing, and if there's anything I should adjust or need to change my plans or try and read more audio books or something along those lines. Yeah, we shall see. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and also follow me on TikTok. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching, and I will speak to you later.